I've already mentioned this in passing a few times, but I mean, this year has been incredible so far. I'm so impressed. We've had kind of a rough go at it for the past couple years. Of course, we had a year that hardly had any new releases for obvious reasons, and then as things started to get back into the swing of it, there were kind of a lot of filler releases, you know, just a lot of stuff that they were probably sitting on that at one point wasn't too good to release or good enough to release, but then after everything went down, they're like, okay, we got to put something out. So they put out this stuff that was just kind of mediocre. Now we're really kind of getting back into full swing here, and we're not even quite halfway through the year yet, but we've already had some amazing releases. And I think a few of these here can really, really change the game. So for the most part, these are still going to be only available at retailers. There are one or two actually that you can pick up at discounters, and I will mention those and link them down below for you. I'll link all these down below, but you know, a few of these you'll be able to get below retail here. I want to start off with pretty much the newest addition to my collection. It's Polo Blue Parfum. So, you know, this could be perceived as like a filler type of release as well, but I really don't think so. You know, on paper, it looks that way. Oh, it's a parfum flanker, sounds lame and boring, but I'm impressed by this one. I really am. The dry down is where it's at. The opening, I have to admit, and I'll say, you know, the opening I could kind of do without. I mean, it opens up nice for sure, smells great, but very Polo Blue smelling for sure. Nothing that's out of the ordinary, so to speak, in the opening. But it's got vetiver, orange, clary sage, oak, goes much more heavy and aromatic in the base. And again, the dry down is beautiful. You know, it has this richness, this maturity, this woody depth, a little bit of a spiciness also. It smells fantastic. You know, it's nothing like, for example, Polo Deep Blue Parfum. I don't want you to mix the two up. Polo Deep Blue Parfum is blue ambroxan, much more fresh, more youthful. This one's quite the opposite. It's mature, it's refined. I love it, man. I really do. I think this is really good. It would be easy to dismiss off the cuff when you first smell it. I mean, you can go look at my first impressions. Off the opening, I was not, you know, like blown away by it by any point. But as it sat on my skin longer, I liked it more. And even after I was done shooting the first impressions and I was continuing to wear it throughout the day, I loved it more and more. So the full review on this one will be coming up, but just to hold you over until then, this one here is really nice, and if you can get it on sale or for a good deal, I would encourage you to do so. Impressive stuff, and it performs like a true parfum. Not the best projection, but longevity has been very good. Next up, we have the limited edition Light Blue Italian Love. So this is going to be straight up a Light Blue Forever flanker, or the way I kind of look at it is a mod. The perfumer sent out a bunch of mods to try to nail down what they wanted Light Blue Forever to smell like, and I would bet you that this is probably one of those modifications as well. Not exactly the same. There are differences. This is another example where on paper, at face value, people would look at this, maybe not even smell it, but just look at it and be like, oh, same as Forever, don't buy it. Or maybe people would smell it one time and think it's the same. The main difference is that this one introduces a lot more bergamot, which goes alongside the grapefruit note here. So Light Blue Forever is all about the grapefruit. Very strong grapefruit for sure, very ozonic, very rindy, sour, a little bit sweet. This one has that going on, but the bergamot really gives it a nice balance. And for me, it makes it actually, believe it or not, a little bit more enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, I love Light Blue Forever, but this one here is hard to beat as well because it brings kind of some balance, brings some counterparts to that heavy, strong, sour grapefruit note. So you do have grapefruit, of course, bergamot, violet leaf, ozonic notes. A lot of the note breakdown stays relatively the same, and that's where it could be misleading for sure. But you really need to give this one multiple chances, wear it multiple times. At that point, you will see the differences between the two. Now, this here is the perfect example of a designer brand doing something different. And so if you want to support the movement of brands putting out things that are unique and different smelling, support this fragrance, buy it, review it, talk about it, because there's a reason why these don't get put out often and why they stick with blue ambroxan fragrances and stuff, because you already have people who are demolishing this one and hating on it, which is fine. You know, if you don't like the scent, that's fine. but also don't go around and say that all brands put out the same stuff and everything smells the same, because this type of DNA is the perfect example of something different. Same with Light Blue Forever. Next up, another one that is fantastic, very impressive, Gentleman Eau de Parfum Reserve Privé. Iris, chestnut, and whiskey are some of the main notes. Fantastic stuff, man. It plays heavily on the Gentleman Eau de Parfum DNA. Also can be compared to Dior Homme Intense, Valentino Uomo Intense, all of that stuff. The difference is this one is even richer and stronger than Gentleman Eau de Parfum, and it introduces the boozy whiskey note. The whiskey and the chestnut really take this one to the next level, to the point where this has become kind of my favorite over the Eau de Parfum and really over the rest of the line in terms of the sweet ones. When I want something sweet, of course, you know, it's not going to compare to Gentleman Cologne or Gentleman Only, much fresher. But in terms of the rich, dense, heavy wintertime, fall and wintertime, evening, sexy fragrances, this one takes the cake. It's gorgeous, it's delicious, it's chocolatey, a little bit boozy, sweet, sexy. This stuff here it's well done. Like, blew my mind so much. I mean, I'm so glad that they came out with this. I'm so glad that they went through with it, because this is something else. Another one that I've been wearing a lot lately, just can't keep it off my skin. It's been a dumb reach for me as we've been, you know, in spring and have days where it is nice out. It's Acqua di Gio Eau de Parfum. More of a summer fragrance to me after I've been wearing it in the spring. You know, at first you smell that it's more aromatic and rich compared to the original Acqua di Gio EDT, of course, the bestseller. And so you're like, oh yeah, maybe more spring, you know, it is more aromatic and kind of heavy. But as I've been wearing it in spring, you know, of course it works great, but we've had a few days where spring has felt more like summer. And of course, the next day it goes back down to cold again. But when the sun's out and you get up into, you know, some warm weather, mid 70s or whatever, you know, I've had this one on and I like it better once you get some heat on it. And I think as it gets even warmer up into the 80s, more humid, I think I'm going to like it even more. To me, I think it's going to be a great summer fragrance. I've been wearing it a lot already, but I think I'm going to continue to be gravitating towards this one as we move into the warmest time of year here. Love it. It's got mineral notes, orange, lavender, clary sage, again, a whole bunch of aromatics. It's much more mature and refined compared to the EDT. So it is a true eau de parfum flanker. It's got good performance as well for what it's worth, being that it is still a fresher scent. It's a grown-up version of ADG, and I think it's awesome. I love it, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. I need to be wearing some other stuff, but I can't help it. And so last up for this one, we have PACO Rabanne 1 Million Elixir. Vanilla, tonka, and apple are some of the main notes. PACO Rabanne. I got told the other day that I was hating on PACO Rabanne and that I'm a PACO Rabanne hater. And I just kind of sat back and I'm like, okay, Invictus Aqua 2016, I've talked about To the Heavens. 1 Million Privé, I've talked about To the Heavens. 1 Million Lucky, I've also talked about a ton. Am I missing a couple? Pure XS Night, all PACO Rabanne that I praised and loved. But yet when I say one not so good thing about PACO Rabanne, I guess I'm a hater. And I think what I said was that the brand puts out a lot of loud, kind of gaudy, tacky bottles, 1 Million Invictus, that sort of thing. And I don't think I'm wrong in saying that, but maybe I am. But the point is, PACO Rabanne is a very controversial, polarizing, and passionate brand. A lot of people who either hate it or love it more often than not. While I'm not in full support of everything they put out, I do lean towards, you know, really enjoying a lot of them. This is one of them. It's a sweeter take on, of course, the DNA. And for me, I'll take this one over the Parfum. The Parfum never really resonated with me. It was too floral in a way that I didn't care for. And it also went in the opposite direction of what I would consider a Parfum to go into, being that it was fresher. Elixir here, you know, it may be slightly more modernized and mature, but still very sweet and youthful. But I do think it's nice. It's a good performer on me, pleasant, good smell, great for fall and winter time, so kind of out of season right now. But nonetheless, I do think it is a really nice release, and I think this one will have a good life for itself. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 5 game-changing new fragrance releases of 2022. Great year so far. And what's crazy is we still have the rest of the year to go. And I think it can continue to get crazy here. I think there's a lot of good things still coming, even though we've already gotten a lot of amazing stuff. So I think this year could go down in the books as being like all around one of the best, most fruitful years of new releases, at least as long as I've been doing this. I will link these up down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.